We'll be talking about mental health and female genital. Now, we've been talking about female genital mutilation for the past couple of episodes now, and we're linking it to mental health. I'm not doing that myself. I'm a medical practitioner in type, and I'm obviously not I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I do have a clinical psychologist here to give us all the information that we need on how mental health links up to female genital mutilation. I have Yusuf Alawade, clinical psychologist, to enlighten us on mental health and Safe, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. And some to listen of people don't understand that in this day and age, the school of thought tends to believe that mental and it's not like, oh, you're disturbing my mental health. Brains blow, oh, you're disturbing my mental health. You want to run, oh, mental health. So now it feels like mental health is being viewed as some kind of excuse, as some kind of defense. Not really, they were not really mental health advocates or anything like that. I mean, I don't remember my mom ever saying, I mean, one thing, and I mean, one thing, and I'll be like, okay, she's had a really long day at work, and I'll understand that that's the context. But nowadays, when you talk about stress, when you're talking about female genital mutilation and mental health, what is that link?
Okay, thank you, Sunton. Before I go further, I will first let us know what mental health is all about.
Please.
And I think people use it loosely, and that can actually make us to understand what it's all about, and we don't really know what it is. And knowing what it is can actually make you what mental health is all about. And when you hear the word mental, different negative perception of it. Oh, you are in a row, you are in Yaba, oh, you are left, so you are this, and a whole lot of things. And understanding what mental health is actually the most important thing. It's a place of emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual well-being, in which an individual is able to realize his own ability to cope, to be productive, and to be able to contribute meaningfully to the society. And maintain relationship. Not just that, now to manage your emotions and the way you think. So all of that is what mental health is. And now being able to use spirituality to solve problems, those are things that mental health is all about, which is totally different from what you have said earlier. Oh, exactly. My mental health is at stake. Oh, I'm feeling this. Yes,
I'm not the one that's saying that.
What
I'm not exactly. So this one, you're not looking at me. I am saying the way that you are saying, it's not me that is saying.
You said that's from the mouth.
I said it's not me that is saying.
You said that's from the mouth.
That is saying.
You said that's from the mouth. From your mouth.
But you understand precisely what I'm saying. So that definition that you just gave is what I think most people do not fully understand.
Sure.
And I'm really glad that you opened with that, because now that links to a whole different aspect of things. And I'm sure that when people say that, that's not what they mean. That is when we talked about that. So Yusuf, what now is the link female genital mutilation and mental health? Is there even any link in the first place?
I will first also go into what female genital mutilation is.
Okay.
It comprises a whole lot of procedure that entails you removing partially or totally external part of female genitalia, and that causes some form of injury. Imagine someone coming to you with razor or any sharp object that they want to do something for you. This slang that they use. Oh, we want to bring you into womanhood. Which womanhood is you cutting me off? And that part, the trauma you face at that stage is a whole lot of trauma that stays with one for the rest of your life. It's something that remembering it or having to do anything that has to do with you, even your husband or your fiance meeting you, is a problem on its own. Remembering that flashback that some women put you down and they try to forcefully do something into your private part, that causes that trauma. And along the line, it causes that thing we call post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD.
Now, going further, it's not something that is generally accepted. Then it makes people to now look at it from the angle of, oh, it's an abnormal thing that has happened to you. Imagine you're going to a medical doctor for an examination, or look at it from the angle of, oh, it's an abnormal thing that has happened to you. Imagine you're going to a medical doctor for an examination, or you want to treat an infection. Not to talk of the medical condition it causes, or the damages it causes physically to you now. Talking of you going to even have an examination or treat an infection, the perception that the medical doctor has the moment they saw you and they notice this thing has been done to you, wow, that irritation already caused a form of stigma for you. Not to talk of after you now did it, immediately you don't even want to socialize. You become withdrawn. You become disengaged from people. You are not interested in engaging in things that makes meaning to you. And if this persists continuously with other things, other symptoms, your mood totally go down at that point. You are feeling down. You cry for days. You are constantly weeping, having weeping spell. You are constantly feeling hopeless. Oh, a part of me has been removed.
That sounds like depression.
Then you begin to have that symptoms of depression. Sharing your story or talking about it, or sharing your story or talking about it, or relating with other women self becomes a problem. Because things they talk about and they do, they enjoy. You are not enjoying it. Things that makes meaning to them, you have been violated. You have been discriminated. You are not the full that you want to be. A part of you that God has created to be something germane and unique and special to you, because of some cultural belief, they have altered it, and that affects your perception and affects how you relate with people. Then that brings us to you having some of these mental challenges, such as developing depression, anxiety, affective disorder. Your mood is just swinging, and anger towards the family. Health challenges that one can face when you go through FGM. FGM.
All right. So let's take it after the other, because to a large extent it's linked. A number of the situations you mentioned are linked, but I wanted to hope for. But before I do that, people can you want to call in, ask questions, clarify whatever it is that you knew before and now you want to know better. You can call in to find whatever it is that you knew before and you want to know better. You can call in to 07000 917 917, 07000 903 175 6537. Once again, call 07000 917 917 is the number to call. Also, you can message to 0703 175 6537. All right, back to you. Yes, so PTSD or stigma or irritation or irritability and anger and all this, a lot of these things have link from female genital mutilation to each of these issues. I'm asking you, you've done it already, but I need more information. Young, and so they don't have much of the memory of what happened to them. So can they still traumatize them even?
Okay, so first thing I would like to say is, it's not something that occurred immediately. It must have been after 3 months of its occurrence before you can say, oh, this is PTSD. PTSD is not, yo, I experienced this now, I experienced rape or this mutilation now, then I'm having PTSD. No. No. It has duration, and there are symptoms that each of you must have made up of each of these symptoms, and that is what is classified both as by. Okay, so when you talk about having constant flashback of the event, That's PTSD. And when this flashback comes, you feel that distress and that pain. You are angry, irritable, then you are not happy. All these are PTSD symptoms. But that constant flashback that occurred to you is what makes it PTSD. Now look at it. You talk about PTSD and female genital mutilation.
Yes.
It's something that some people, they do it for them as immediately they give birth to them. Some they just, and culturally, the way in the society, the way they are that this age that they want to do it, you are aware something you don't want. So because of the inherent culture and norms that we've carried on, it goes into that part, and I'm not going to be the first that will break this rule. My father did it, I must do the same. Then it's now make them to do it for that. Let's say they did it for me at the age of 15, or they did it for the person before 15. But this person is already aware of what is going on. So remembering that, when I grow up or after that day, 3 months later, I constantly feel that PTSD comes in. And I'm going to just briefly share a story here. Okay. It's not necessarily the PTSD that is related to female genital mutilation now, but the PTSD of someone that is raped, has experienced rape before. Here the experience with the husband. One of the days, they were just about to have sex, and the next thing, the man penetrated. Forcefully, she pushed him out of the car. Forcefully. Whatever happened to him, she's not concerned. Yes. And she ran out of the room and went to a particular secluded room. Not herself there. Thank God the husband is aware. Never has a problem as at that time. But when she experienced this and this happened to her, that was when she was pushed and forced to go for therapy. And before you know it, as at that time, she even go through depression. And nobody knows she was depression and suicidal as well. So that is what PTSD is capable of causing. Now remember that the courts that parts that they told, or the other parts, or the seizure it, they have gone through either the first stage or the fourth type. You want to have sex with your husband. The memory that comes to your mind is how they remove your pants forcefully, and they want to cut that private part, that sensation part that should make you to enjoy sex or complication with your husband. At that point, the moment the man is up close to you, that trauma comes, you have that flashback, and what comes with it, you want to defend yourself. If you are now all you just want to do is let him just do it because I am overpowered. Let him just do it because I am overpowered. What happened to them at the time when they did that cutting? They were also overpowered. They were overpowered. And that flashback made them to now feel sad. This makes sense now. I mean, it's becoming even more relatable as we speak. And I really appreciate that because it lends a lot of power to the fact that mental health is so important and it's critical to every aspect of our life, not let alone something as major as being mutilated in a young girl's life. So the stigma and the and depression, because I think to a large extent you can tell that there are lots of depressed people in this country. Sure. And in a lot of cases you cannot necessarily link that again to female genital mutilation, because there are even men that are depressed as well. So using the withdrawal experience that you gave, being that after she's been mutilated she doesn't see herself as complete anymore, and so she feels the need to not socialize. So that withdrawal is like the first stage. Then is it over time it grows into depression? Well, like you said, a lot of people are depressed. Being in Nigeria, living in Nigeria is depressing on its own. That staying in is more than traffic.
It's not so bad.
Now let's look at it. Depression and how it grew from social withdrawal to depression. Depression is not just a symptom. It's a continuum. Different symptoms that must have occurred for minimum of 2 weeks and no maximum. The first is after being caught, I withdrawn. I heard the story of a girl that was caught, and after weeks, days, she refused to go to school. She's not coming out, and the fact that place is not healed yet. It's still bleeding, and all those things cannot work effectively. Develop a lot of other symptoms, keloid and cold, infection, hemorrhoid,
to the physical pain.
A lot of that now brings poor sleep, loss of interest in things that used to make meaning to me. I'm not even interested in relating with my friend. I'm the type that is social, always want to be in face of everybody. At this time, I'm not interested. I just want to be by myself. If I'm in school, I just want to seclude myself into a corner where nobody will disturb me. If you ask me anything or you with me, I'm irritable. All these are symptoms. Then poor sleep comes, not sleeping well again, or I just want to keep sleeping and not wake up. Once I see it's daybreak again, oh my God, when I should have gone from here. Yeah, don't say that is bad to me. So the persistent feeling of sadness or unhappiness continuously like that, the fact that I can remember I'm constantly feeling this way, now contributed to that. I've mentioned a few symptoms now.
Of course.
Some at this point deep binge eating just to forget the problem or not to feel the pain, and some they are not even having appetite to the pain, and some they are not even having appetite to know. Not interested in eating. These are symptoms of depression. Now coupled with the fact that they are now feeling hopeless. Oh well, I've been trying. Now that make me not to be a complete woman again. So what's the effort? Why am I putting all the effort of becoming somebody in life? Oh, you have a lawyer. That dream can be interrupted because of that feeling. At that point, I was in that situation. Nobody can help me, so I'm helpless. So what else are symptoms of depression, which if persistent for minimum of 2 weeks and no maximum, this person is already depression. Okay. Then you can now say, oh, it's depression due to certain situation, but it's depression.
Absolutely.
And the moment worthlessness and hopelessness is already there, suicidal intent can be popular. And I'm just thinking of ending it up. And I'm just thinking of ending it up.
Because take my life. You don't see the point. It's like there's no point.
So why am I in this? Why am I in this world? Every other will feel this and this. I can't talk about it again. That's develop and grow into that suicidal intent, suicidal attempt, or suicide itself.
And that will just lead to the death of someone just as a result.
Future leader
Gone.
Just due to the mistake and lack of knowledge that our parents or our culture has imbibed in us. That's one. Then you come up with anxiety feeling. Anxiety, scared. Once I see this set of people, I'm scared. Being in the house or coming home, I'm scared. I don't want to see them. Constantly having that heart racing, palpitation, feeling fearful constantly, and a whole lot of other symptoms. Anxiety develop from there. Like I said, withdrawn.
Yes.
I don't want to relate with anybody. Now imagine I went to a doctor for checkup, and the moment the doctor sees I stigmatize this, and I'm a bad woman, that's fuel is suicidal thoughts and a whole lot of things. That mood swing I mentioned could come up in any way.
I can see how that would come given the current situation. I mean, somebody who was perfectly fine before now finds himself in this unfortunate situation. Automatically, if you're consciously feeling like, oh, they're taking big part away from me, they forced me into doing this thing I didn't want to do. Automatically, you lose about that situation, because I don't see anything good in anything we've talked about so far. Mental health and stability is not there's no pro there. Health and stability is not there's no pro there. It's only cause, and the cause there are plenty. According to what they are telling me now.
More than enough.
Okay, so we're getting back into conversation. 27 minutes past. Getting back into conversation. 27 minutes past on women. This is Let's Talk FGM. We discuss everything relating to female genital mutilation, but today specifically, we're talking about mental health and female genital mutilation. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of Casey as an initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to end violence against women.
A radio station women and family can enjoy. Playing music you like to hear. Well, at least some of you.
For the women.
It's a language that men will never understand. This is
Women Radio 91.7.
Bring the rock on me. I want that don't come circumcision. Bring the rock on me. I want that don't come circumcision.
Daddy, you want to destroy your picking life. Papa Dora. You know, say person when pay somebody to do circumcision. And person when do the circumcision, now all of them go prison. When it reach like 4 the circumcision, now all of them go prison. When it reach like 4 years, and then still even pay 200,000. If you give person ordinary advice, say they do circumcision, you go still go prison for like 2 years. And still pay like 100,000 fine money. For me, I call this life first messages to go arrest you. What did they do not good? So they pass plenty health palava for girls' body. My people, if you hear or see person when wants circumcise any girl, sharply want to law enforcement person near you, or make you call 0812 167 1069. Female circumcision good. Make we join hands. Stop her.
It's the health initiative to stop conscious when they form the United Nations and violence and message.
We are Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families.
29 minutes past 2 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is still Let's Talk FGM, where we discuss every 9 minutes past 2 on Women Radio 91.7, and this is still Let's Talk FGM, where we discuss everything relating to female genital mutilation. GM, yes, mental health and FGM. Our guest today, Yusuf Alawode, a clinical psychologist, has been doing more than enough to have mental health linked up with female genital mutilation. That is what we're trying to establish, and we're trying to make you see as well that you need to be an advocate against female genital mutilation. This is something that we need to talk about, and this is definitely something that you need to know, and that's why we're talking about this today. So if you want to ask questions, or you feel the need to say, share an experience, something that you know that has happened to someone around you, or you just want to put out, just lend your voice in the subject, then yes, you can totally do that. Go ahead and call in to 07000 917 917 07000 917 917. If you are confused by anything that Mr. Yusuf is saying, just ask. I permit you to call in and ask. Once again, 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917 is the number to call. Yes, back to you, Mr. Yusuf Alawode.
All right.
We've been talking about mental health, and you've listed some of the mental health issues that could develop as a result of female genital mutilation. Now, you talked about the stigma, PTSD, and I want to ask low self-esteem, because you talked about feeling like less of a woman. Does low self-esteem, or can low self-esteem be a byproduct of female genital mutilation? Can that affect your esteem, your self-confidence as a woman?
Sure. Imagine women, as a ladies, we are just hanging out and talking about different things, different experiences, how you take care of your private parts, and you share something about sex and everything. And yes, they talk about how they enjoy sex and how they feel whenever they are about to meet their husband. At that point, can you mention you enjoy it? Do you even feel comfortable hearing it? Not to talk of you not being able to reach orgasm or even have any form of any atom of pleasure from it. Not just that, difficulty in delivering, giving birth, and going through that pain all the time is more than enough, because a part that's supposed to make you enjoy sex has been cut off. Some they suture them and they just leave a space where you can pee or urinate
or menstruate.
Menstruation itself becomes a problem for people who had gone through FGM.
Alright, you said give me a moment, we have a call coming in. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Sean.
Hello, Sean, where are you calling from?
Please, I just want to ask for the feeling of PTSD, if I'm correct.
PTSD, that's what you mean, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, I would like the doctor to answer that.
That's post-traumatic stress disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder. That's the meaning of PTSD.
Okay, Session, I'm hoping you got that and you can understand how that links to female genital mutilation as we've been discussing earlier. So you're talking to me about how it affects your self-esteem and the fact that if you're in a conversation with women around you and they're talking about the kind of pleasure that they receive from sexual intercourse with their husbands and how their birthing process has gone and all this sharing of the mutual experiences, and somehow it looks like you cannot really
can't connect with any of these you are talking about because I've never felt it. All I feel is anytime my husband wants to come and meet me, I'm feeling pain. I'm having flashback of what they did to me. And not to forget this, they did this to you within the teen age. Let's assume it happened from that 13 till 15, early adolescent stage. This is the most confused stage
of your life in total,
that we don't even know what we want by ourselves. Peer pressure, peer influence have a lot of influence in us then.
And this is also the age where you're just getting to know about the opposite sex.
God bless you. And this now make it more complicated. Some might not even want to get married because of what they have done to them. Because you have now gone over to read a lot about what they have done to you, then that trauma is there. And that makes you to just withdraw to yourself. And some now go ahead and find a coping mechanism. That is when they go into either high risk or any of high risk sexual behavior or substance abuse. Most of substance abuse we have today, or most of them started from adolescent stage. And some of them, it is due to, I want to just cope with something. They are medicating on that substance to cope with the problem they are going through.
Absolutely.
And anytime I'm feeling down, rather than me feeling that way, I just want to, let me just take a stick of this, or let me go and pop this. They said it makes someone happy. Someone introduced me to that, and it makes me fully happy for the behavior. Imagine me not being happy in a long while, and someone gave me a stick of cannabis or a substance to use, and I feel happy when I used it. Not to forget, it's euphoria feeling.
Yes.
It does not last long.
And it doesn't change the reality of
at all. Once it wears off, I'm back to it in multiples.
Well, that's why people become addicts.
Because I don't want to go back to that feeling, I increase my usage. And then I got addicted. Dependency, intolerance increases, then dependency occurs, then addiction. So the self-esteem all are interwoven.
Absolutely.
The fact that I can't relate with everything all my colleagues are enjoying, all my peers are enjoying, I am totally seeing myself as less of who I am to them. They are better than me. In millions,
yes.
From my view. And that will now make me to now withdraw more. If I know I will be with them and I won't enjoy anything, so why being in that situation? Why not just be by myself and just find a coping mechanism?
All right. Okay. All right. So coping mechanism. You talked about some of those negative ones. You've talked about high-risk sexual behavior. You've talked about substance abuse. Earlier you mentioned binge eating and or oversleeping or undersleeping, so to speak. Are there any coping mechanisms for people who are going through mental health difficulty resulting from female genital mutilation? And let me link that to solutions. So, are there any therapy options, or what would be the best recovery process for somebody who is already has gotten to that point of mental health difficulty as a result of female genital mutilation?
There are a lot of coping mechanisms, and there are treatment process you can go through. It's the same way we do treatment for PTSD. People who had experienced traumatic events, rape, accidents, major life-threatening ailments, and all that we still put you through normal treatment.
Okay.
So the first thing is having insight that this thing has caused this problem for me. If I've not seen something as a problem, why will I look for solution? If I've not accepted it as, oh, it's affecting me negatively, why should I look for solution? But the moment I've seen it as something that is causing this problem, most times people who are depressed or going through this PTSD might not know that that is the problem that made them feel
You're very right.
So the first thing we do when we see those set of people is having full clinical interview with them, where we take each to go back to their experience as a childhood experience, developmental milestone, look at what they had experienced in the past. Is there any form of regrets they can remember? And if we are able to, in our cracking or history taking or clinical interview, we have been able to identify, and if we are able to, in our cracking or history taking or clinical interview, we have been able to identify any of these symptoms, then we look at it. Then that is when we now employ some therapy process, such as using CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. In that, we want to look at what is the root of the problem. What is the causative? There's something we call ABC of it. There's an antecedent, which is the A.
Okay.
Then there's behavior. Then what is the consequence that this behavior caused me? The antecedent is, oh, I was caught. I have FGM. They caught me forcefully. And that makes me to start having some certain behavior. Then what is the consequence? It makes me to experience this particular disorder. Now we want to treat it. We must first deal with the root before we can deal with the behavior and the consequence. If I didn't find a solace or the process in that foundation, or the female genital mutilation of the thing, then going or the process in that foundation, or the female genital mutilation of the thing, then going through treatment with no, sorry. It's not about sympathy, empathy. Understand them from their perspective. The first is listen non-judgmental.
Okay.
This person is sharing a painful experience. Listen to them and be bold enough to share your experience with someone that will not judge you, not criticize you, and will not use the information against you. That's the first line. After you have understood that this thing is a problem and I need to be better at managing it. It's not something we can erase totally.
Yes.
But we can manage the consequences. So finding that person, and I will always advise you speak to a psychologist or a mental health advocate, or psychiatrist, because they understand what SLA agreement is, non-disclosure agreement.
Okay.
And they have that empathy to understand your problem. They are not your situation.
Yes.
They might not feel it the way you are feeling. To understand your problem. They are not your situation.
Yes.
They might not feel it the way you are feeling it. But they have that empathy to know that, yes, this thing is affecting this woman or this lady. And yes, they walk you through how you can manage it. The other type you can use is DBT.
Okay. What is DBT?
The athletic behavioral therapy. You just want the person to manage the situation as it is. We already know you can't really get out of it. It's a situation that you are already in. Then be an advocate that speaks about it. Now make you to be more stronger. Because first healing in trauma is talking about the trauma.
And this is what a lot of people that have been through FGM don't want to do.
At all.
Talk about it. It's like, no, please.
We have to break the stigma. It's not what I want. I have found myself there because of lack of knowledge and education from my parents and my society at large. Then when you are now an advocate talking about it, that makes you to be stronger, and you are preventing a whole lot of other ladies from having that same thing or going through the same trauma you are going through. It's just like someone who is going through, who has been a victim of rape, and you know the perpetrator, they are staying with the person rapes you almost every other day, and you have not gone through healing process. You've not talked about it because you are having that fear that if I talk about it, nobody will believe me.
Believe me.
What they will tell me is, oh, what you are putting on is the problem. You shouldn't have wear this. What did you put? What are you?
Why did he go to his house?
So all this already puts you in that corner. And being able to talk about it boldly prevents a whole lot of other people from being a victim. And then education, both in our community, to the community leader, to primary health care worker, because they are medical, they are making it they are doing it in the medical way in some culture now. Sensitize them, and then let's change the medical. They are making it they are doing it in the medical way in some culture now. Sensitize them, and then let's change the law that can prevent females from this trauma, from this circumcision. It's just a myth. It's not, it's making not to be promiscuous or not that.
It's not reality.
It's a lie.
It's not facts. I
was going through a research yesterday, and I saw a research on some people that they try to research why some lady are into sexual business and why some are not this, and some of them develop it from this particular. Okay, I'm not a woman enjoying sex. Why don't I turn into money making machine? Let my woman be using my body to make money. So that is found in some sex worker, and this is a trauma. So now when you have been able to understand that, oh, this is a problem, you are looking for solutions. Exactly. You are bold enough to talk about it, and you are ready to go through the healing process. You are looking for solutions. Exactly. You are bold enough to talk about it, and you are ready to go through the healing process. Be confident in talking about it. Don't be ashamed. But we have to break the stigma that the society has created already by having an enabled society that is ready to talk about it, enlighten people on it, and make people to know that there's a law that is backing this, and anyone who do this or that is going to be sanctioned by the law. Obviously, that is preventive method. And all this can actually help you understand and go through the process of being better. It can be erased, but it can be better at managing it.
Yes, I like that you added that, because I was just about to say, he said better at managing, not better at removing it completely. There will never be a situation where you wake up one morning and your experiences are not a part of you. Except you had maybe amnesia or something, and that morning you woke up and you couldn't remember your left from your right, you couldn't remember what you liked, what got your hair.
But you will still feel the pain.
You will still feel the pain.
But you will still feel the pain.
You will still feel the pain. You will still feel the pain. So it's to a large extent unerasable, or you can't take it away. Sure. Now that we've agreed that this is something you cannot erase from the history of your life. So yes, it will come back to haunt you at a certain point. And I use that word.
Either I use it in a negative way, someone write about me, or I write about it myself. An autobiography or my biography. It's my past. I can't dwell in my past. Learning from my past will make me enjoy the current moment rather than causing regret for me. That is the necessity where the therapy will come in. It cannot be erased. My past is part of me. Is what made me who I am. And I can't take that part of me away. No, but I can actually make my past to be something that is not causing any form of regret for me. Something that is not causing any form of regret for me. And I'm experiencing just learning. I learn from it, learn from my past, and focus on my present so that I can make a plan for my future. In therapy,
I like that.
I have a way of breaking this 3 stages of our life into 3 and explaining why we are feeling the way we are feeling at the current moment. In the past, your past is filled up with trauma, regrets, and at the current moment, you are feeling that regret and you are experiencing that feeling of unhappiness, and that will develop to other negative symptoms.
Sure.
Not to mention too much of it, I classify all those negative symptoms that people feel at the present moment as negative preoccupation. Then that's all you are just looking for at that current moment is anything that will make me happy. If it's just for me to use one thing or do one thing,
I'll make me stop feeling the pain.
I will just do it. I don't care, and I keep engaging in that as a coping mechanism, even if it's negative. But to go into the positive, you have to learn from your past rather than regretting it. When you learn from your past and you are not regretting it, it makes you enjoy the current moment and makes you feel happy at the current moment. And that is when I'm happy, I can plan for tomorrow. If I'm still looking for how I want to engage myself or how I want to be happy, how will I think of tomorrow? I will even forget tomorrow.
Yeah.
So future is always
important, and it's something you need to pay attention to.
It has to be from the present. You have to learn from your past before you get to the present.
That's 100%.
Rather than regretting it and then move into the future. Gradually make plan for the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, what advice do you have now? Because we're going to round off in a bit. What advice do you have for women that have been mutilated and are facing some difficult times with their personal lives, with their marriage, and they just don't feel good about themselves anymore? What advice would you give people like this?
The first thing I will say, I will still go back to everything I've explained so far. Speak up. Seek that support
That you need
to a therapist, clinical psychologist, any mental health advocate that you know will not judge, not criticize you, and will listen to you to help you through it, rather than demoralizing you, showing some. It's not sympathy. Listen, non-judgmental to my problem is the first thing I need. Speak out. Seek support from a therapist, and that will go a long way to help you through the healing process and manage your mind effectively. And sometimes, if you are married, at that point we want to look at how we want to have a form of couples therapy. Because sometimes the husband did not understand.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. Yes, that's very true.
They don't know the trauma you are going through. They just know that anytime I want to have sex with my wife, he's always angry. What happened now? I talk to my wife, he's always angry. What happened now? I thought they said we are one now.
She's always asking that has peace of mind. The time that part where he said it's not something you can stop forgetting. You can stop remembering
at all. But if the husband understands it, then they will both look at how do we make this particular aspect fun-filled and memorable anytime we want to have it, rather than you feeling pain. But if I don't understand that, I don't even want to understand the problem you are going through. You are my wife and I want to just have sex. If that is the perception and the feeling the guy has, that will not make the woman to actually grow. But when you come for therapy and we understand that we are able to invite the husband, walk both of you through it, and you will be living a happy life. Because it's a support system to you.
And I even wanted to point out that that lack of understanding, the husband has it and it continues and he never gets enlightened. He will just continue forcing himself on you. Exactly. And before you know it, you're battling with mental trauma, or your husband is literally raping you every single day.
Because we are both supposed to enjoy this.
Absolutely.
Not one person enjoying it. And it shouldn't be forceful. It should be something that is mutual.
Exactly.
So I will advise we speak up. Seek that support from a professional therapist.
Thank you very much, Yusuf. Again, one final question, and this one is basically about going forward. So even after they've spoken up, after they've gotten the help that they need, and this is for people who do get the help they need eventually, do you think it's possible that people who have gone through all of this, who have gone through the processes, do you think that they'll ever be the same again?
That is why therapy is needed. I can never be the same does not mean I cannot prevent other people from experiencing it.
Sure.
I can use my story to change a whole lot of things in the world. The fact that, I have gone through it and I kept quiet about it, means a lot of people will not know about it. Means a lot of people will not even know the danger that this entails. Means a lot of people will not even know it is not a good thing to do. So speaking about it goes a long way.
Absolutely. Well, this is where I have to say thank you very much. Thank you very much, Yusuf Alawade, clinical psychologist. I think you've really been very clinical about all your explanations today. And to a large extent, I'm hoping that you that listened took a lot of things. I'm even hoping that you had a pen and paper somewhere where you were jotting things down and writing it, because it's important. If one person shares the knowledge with another person, and by that way we can all grow and get the needed information out there, create that public awareness that people need to know about the negativity that comes along with female genital mutilation. Thank you very much, Yusuf, and thank you all. Play our part in ending female genital mutilation. If you want to report cases of female genital mutilation, you can call 0812 467 0069 081 467 0069. You can also get more information on stopcot.ac.org. Stopcot.ac.org. Let's Talk FGM is an initiative of Haiti Health Initiative in partnership with Women Radio 91.7 and funded by the United Nations Trust Fund to End Violence Against Women. And this is a wrap on Let's Talk FGM today. My name is Sumta Titilayo Ajama. Thank you to the producer, Adenike Kodri, and I hope that you've learned something new today. Thank you very much for tuning in once again, and good afternoon.
Àṣàkẹ́ Yéṣu kúrò lè rán pẹ́ ṣe ní ìyá àgbà oníkì ló fẹ́ dábẹ́ fún wọn.
Mi ò fẹ́ dábẹ́ fún ọmọ mi. Àwọn àdúgbò ẹgbà wọn o. Wọ́n fẹ́ dábẹ́ fún ọmọ ẹgbà wọn o. Àwọn ọmọ fẹ́yìn ló fẹ́ dábẹ́ fún Ṣàdé. Ìyá àgbà oníkì gan ni wọ́n sì gbẹ̀gbẹ̀ kó wá dábẹ́ fún.
Ṣé ìjọba ti ní ohun tó léwu ni? Ewu ti ní láti máa dábẹ́ fún ọmọbìnrin.
Ṣé bí nǹkan tí wọ́n fi yín bọ̀ wọ́n lọ sí ẹ̀wọ̀n ọdún lẹ́yìn nígbà náà? Ẹ̀wọ̀n ìgbàlẹ̀ tẹ́wọ́ nínú gbogbo tí wọ́n fẹ́ tẹ̀sán àwọn lè. Ìgbàlọ́pàá sí.
Àti ẹ ti fẹ́ kọ́mọ yín kú.